Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. The weekend is here. Pretty close. But first, Mr. Drew Brees. Drew Brees, of course, is absolutely correct. It is, in fact, New Orleans, Louisiana. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program where this wintry mix continues. We got a slight reprieve, I guess, like overnight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the morning, and then it got right back into the 40s. About 47 degrees outside and kind of nasty, like a wintry mix. If it were about 15 degrees colder, we might have some snow flurries. Seriously. It's kind of wet, moist, rain, drizzle, rain in some parts of the metro, definitely earlier. 39 degrees tomorrow morning. 39 tomorrow morning, a high of only 48 for tomorrow. Sunday, 38, but we'll get to around 60 Sunday afternoon. And then pretty much all of next week, 40s and 50s, all of next week. This sort of nasty, wintry mix continues. Not our usual weather. You know, we can deal with it. It's not brutal, but it's definitely cold. You definitely need to get out the big coat because it's cold out there. And it's wet and rainy and misty, and it would be better just to get home from work and turn the heat on and, you know, watch some TV or something. And if you're going to go out, hit some of the night hot spots on a Friday, music, food, whatever. Yeah, I think just, you know, plan in and out quick. Yeah, it's just sort of nasty, windy, wet on the street, puddles, that kind of stuff. Don't wear your nice shoes out tonight. The governor, Governor Jeff Landry, with President-elect Donald Trump, said unidentified drones have been flying over Louisiana's nuclear power plants. And they don't have answers for it. I found that pretty interesting. Jeff Landry, the president. Speaking of, boy, Karen Pence, attending Jimmy Carter's funeral or memorial service, ignoring President-elect Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump. Karen Pence. I mean, there was Bill and Hillary Clinton. Barack Obama was there. George Bush, Barbara Bush. Not Barbara. Boy, going blank now. Laura Bush. Who else was there? Some other DC politicos. And Donald and Melania Trump. And Karen Pence just kept her head down. I mean, Donald Trump walked right in front of Mike Pence and Karen Pence, and Melania Trump was right behind the president-elect. And Mike Pence stood up and shook his hand and said hello to Melania. Or Melania was first, actually, and then the president. Melania was first. And Karen Pence just had her head down, like reading the Carter Memorial, service little, pamphlet that they have at the church. Pretty interesting. Got a good one lined up for you. Speaking of pretty interesting, Fletcher Mackel in about 10 minutes. Another edition of Fridays with Fletch. A lot to discuss, like the Saints head coaching search, NFL playoffs, college football playoffs, Pels, Tulane football, Sumrall year 2, LSU football. Like 40% of that roster at LSU is new. Like 40%. Brian Kelly brought in a pretty good recruiting class, top 5 recruiting class, top 6 recruiting class, and brought in the number 1 or 2 transfer portal class. About 36, 37, 38 new players. Fletcher Mackel will have all the info. Kind of ironical. Brian Kelly leaves Notre Dame for LSU because he said publicly, I can win a title at LSU. Easier. It's they're built for it. They want to do it more than Notre Dame. And then how about that kind of snafu that Kelly threw out there? And he's totally right. It wasn't like a screw up. It was just something you don't want an LSU employee to say. But Brian Kelly said publicly, at Notre Dame, they're not building this athletic facility. At LSU, I asked for it and they're going to build it. He goes, they may not be building an academic building here, but they'll build an athletic building. I mean, he was like Notre Dame will build an academic building, but they're not building an athletic building. LSU will build an athletic building, but they're not building an academic building. He's just like, LSU wants to win in sports and they're willing to put out the money. And it's so true. Athletics are the driver. Academics aren't fun. They don't have any sizzle, coupled with Louisiana folks continuously don't see the benefit in them, even when they procreate and have children. It's mind-blowing. It really is. I don't get the New Orleans and Louisiana apprehension to education. I don't get it. I really don't. There's sort of this you think because you read and write you're better than me mentality. It's like it's all relative, like money, education, and smarts and common sense and all of that. It's all relative. But my goodness, don't you want more info in the brain? Don't you want a better education, especially for your kids if you procreate? No, LSU's never been academically driven, very athletic driven. I mean, first class athletic facilities and just academics, have improved. There's new buildings and you go on the campus and there's, some improvement. But my God, if you look at the pace of other SEC schools and other schools that focus on academics first, it's hard to compare. Anyway, Notre Dame is in the national title game. And Brian Kelly, 3 years at LSU, no playoffs. And Notre Dame's in the national title game. So a little irony there. We'll get Fletcher Mackel's take on that in a few minutes. Michael Hecht's going to join us in about 25 minutes from Greater New Orleans, Inc. A lot to discuss with Michael. There's some stuff that's out of the metro area, out of Greater New Orleans, Inc.'s, 9-10 parish reach, but not too far, like about 50 miles upriver, Ascension Parish. They're getting 1,300 jobs, a $6 billion plant. And it's not pumping out, I'm not saying it's the cleanest thing in the world, but it's not some total toxic plant. It's not an ammonia plant. It's not a fertilizer plant. It's not an oil and gas or chemical plant. It is an aluminum plant. So it's not totally clean, but big improvements on how they make aluminum now. Hyundai built from the ground up a brand new $6 billion aluminum plant to supply a couple of auto plants they have in the South, one in Georgia, one in Alabama. They'll make the aluminum in Louisiana. 1,300 jobs, Ascension Parish. We'll talk to Michael Hecht about that. Jeff Landry, man, $10 billion Meta AI center up in northeast Louisiana, like right around the 4 poorest parishes in the state, some of the poorest parishes in America. And then a $25 billion Bitcoin mining facility. And now this, it's a few thousand jobs in Jeff Landry's administration. You got to give him credit. Michael Hecht will join us to discuss that. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Yeah, you right. Every day, this program on radio, on television, on YouTube. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra, the Car Corner, Williams Boulevard, and I-10 in Kenner. Lamarck Ford, the big store, over 45 years. Lamarck Lincoln, number 1 Lincoln dealership in the state. And Lamarck Crescent City Ford, your commercial truck, van, SUV dealer. Ronnie Lamarck from Araby Park, bringing it.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home. Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Total Maintenance TM-JC.com. Go cool smiles. TM-JC.com. Go cool smiles.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. It's another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Fletcher Mackle with us. What up, Fletch?
Not a lot, Corey. How are you?
Good. I'd like to get into your electric bike, what you've been eating, stuff like that. But there's lots of sports topics we actually have to address. Damn it.
Well, that's good. I apologize. I'm coughing. I've been a little sick the last few days.
What's wrong? Why are you sick?
Throat, weather changing, working a lot, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not really sick, more just like a sore throat and some congestion.
Yeah. It's this weather's crazy. This is a wintry mix for us.
Yeah. And this morning, I woke up and got my paper, and I'm like, it's not too bad. And now,
No, it wasn't.
It's 10 degrees colder than it was.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Now, I guess if we lived in Minneapolis, I'd be calling you right now let's go play some tennis, dude. Let's knock out some golf, right now.
So it's funny. I had lunch today with a friend who just came down from New York, and he told me, he goes, are you kidding? He goes, I'm going to go for a long walk. He goes, well, we've been experiencing the last few weeks. He goes, this is like spring.
Yeah, my sister's in Charlottesville, 2 hours outside of D.C., and it's 15 degrees, something like that. 15.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. 15.
Yeah, he told me when he left his house this morning, it was 11 a.m. in snow, or 11 degrees in snow.
Yeah, look, you saw Dallas and Atlanta, huh? They're pounded. It looks like they look like Denver.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep, it is. All right, you ready for rapid fire? Because I've got a gazillion sports topics.
Let's do it.
All right, Saints head coach search. Any info and any leading candidates in your opinion? Who's it going to be?
I still think Aaron Glenn is the leading candidate. He interviewed virtually today. They started doing interviews on Wednesday. Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. Yesterday was Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator for the Giants. Today, Aaron Glenn. Look, Aaron Glenn is the hottest coach on the market. Plus, he has some ties here. Played here in 2008. Coached here from 16 through 20 with Peyton. There's a level of familiarity. Part of me believes that that's who they'd like to hire, but I do think they, look, the fix was in for Dennis Allen 3 years ago, and I think they realized that obviously, was a mistake. So they're going to have a thorough process, but Aaron Glenn, 3 years ago, nobody else was banging down Dennis Allen's door. Everybody's banging down Aaron Glenn's door right now because the Lions are so good and he's a good coach. He's interviewing for 5 of the 6 openings. So I think he's probably the front runner, but he's going to have options. I mean, he played for the Jets. He may get the Jets job. The Bears want a new culture. He may end up in Chicago. So I think there's a chance he ends up here, and he's one of the favorites here, but I don't know if he's the favorite. I also think they just went with a defensive-minded coach. I think they may need an offensive-minded coach who can elevate their quarterback play, and if they had a superstar quarterback, I'd say maybe you could go defense and just find the right offensive coordinator. But my gut may tell me that they probably should lean into an offensive-minded coach to elevate mediocre quarterback play.
The NFL playoffs. Locally, will fans be rooting for or against Sean Payton in Denver at Buffalo?
I think there'll be a little torn. I think there's a part of the fan base, understands what he did here and how good he was and wants to see him do well, but he's not here anymore. So no one's going to be exactly crying if the Broncos get popped early in the playoffs. So I think it'll be, a little bit of a mixed reaction. A game or two stand out this first weekend of playoffs for you? So one of the games that stands out to me is sadly the one that has been moved. I think Rams-Vikings is fascinating because the Rams come on strong every year, it seems like, And the Vikings have been one of these great stories this year. And that game's going to be moved to Arizona because of the terrible fires in LA.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a really fascinating game. I love the other game that you can watch on WDSU Sunday night, Commanders-Bucks. I think the Bucks are okay, but not great. And the Commanders are a year early, probably, with Jaden Daniels as a rookie. So I don't think either of those teams are going to end up in the Super Bowl, but I think it's a fascinating game to watch, and it's hopefully going to be a really good game.
College football playoffs, kind of an irony here. Brian Kelly leaves Notre Dame. LSU will build an athletic building. Notre Dame will build an academic one. Neither school will build the other. I can win and title at LSU easier, quicker than at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's in the title game. LSU and Brian Kelly, they're 0 for 3 as far as playoffs.
Yeah, it's a bad look for Brian Kelly. And I like Brian Kelly, and I think he can do really good things at LSU. But this is a bad look. Make no mistake about it. He left Notre Dame. He was the first coach ever in the history of their program to leave on his own willpower, and it was because he wanted to get better recruits in the SEC, play in a better conference. The SEC wins championships. The narrative was you can't win there. Well, guess what? Marcus Freeman, who was his defensive coordinator, stepped in and now has them playing for a national championship, and LSU's been nowhere near the national championship or the playoffs. So it all, again, it's not like it's career-threatening, or it's not like it's something that's going to, get him fired at LSU, but it's just a bad look, and Notre Dame has to be dancing and loving this and being happy, and all the people that hate Brian Kelly can certainly pile on, because it definitely is a bad look. He left one of the most storied places in the history of the sport because he felt like he couldn't win it all, and they're on the cusp of winning it all. So it's a bad look right now.
Top 5 recruiting class, top 1 or 2 transfer portal class. He's going to have like a 40% new roster, Fletcher, like almost 40%.
Yeah, that's college sports right now. College sports is out of whack and completely messed up beyond repair right now. Look, I saw Drew Rosenhaus, the famed agent from Miami, was doing interviews down at the Orange Bowl yesterday. And he said, look, in professional sports, there's salary cap, there's structure, there's players' unions, there's length of contracts. Pro players can't just say, hey, guess what? I didn't like it here 1 year. I'm out. See you later. He goes, but all these college kids now can do it. It's the Wild West. It's crazy. I'm not saying it's wrong, because I'm all for young people getting the money if they can get it. But there needs to be some type of order, structure, and balance to at least keep it competitively fair.
No, and it needs to be at a federal level. So it's not like horse racing or boxing. It's got to be fair across the board. It isn't NIL, Fletch. It's pay to play. Look at Tulane's Hughes. What's he going to Oregon for, like $700,000?
Yeah, I mean, look at the kid Carson Beck today from Georgia. He got hurt in the SEC championship game. He declares for the draft. He now says he's not going to the draft. He's going to Miami because they're going to give him $4 million for 1 year. Well, if he's a second or third round draft pick, he'd make like $700,000 or $800,000 in the NFL. A big booster at Miami just giving him $4 million.
Wow.
Sure, take that. I mean, it's crazy. It's just
crazy.
And again, I'm not saying it's wrong for young people to make money if they can. I just think there needs to be some type of, this was not what it was supposed to be when it came into effect. It's now just what you said, big money schools, big boosters buying whatever they want.
I remember when, the NFL went from NFL, no free agency, to Plan B, and then to full-blown free agency. Jim Finks wasn't built for that. Nick Saban, not built for today's college football. He retired because of this. I would say prematurely, a few years earlier than I think he wanted to. This forced his hand, I would say. Boy, Sumrall hitting the ground running. I mean, he's talked about it. You can either adapt or you can yell at the wall and fight the change. He's adapted. He goes out and gets a bunch of quarterbacks. Everything he needs, he goes out and gets. What do you think Tulane year 2 under Sumrall is going to look like? More of the same?
Look, I think John Sumrall is a great coach. And that's the hard thing right now, is to predict. Look, he's got 3 transfer quarterbacks in.
Yep.
They all seem talented. I don't know which one's going to be the winner.
And Ty Thompson might be coming back. He might become like a Swiss Army knife. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so look, I think John Sumrall is a great coach. I think they're going to do very well. But that's the craziness of college sports right now. Is it's basically, it's no longer, or rarely is it, develop the kid over 3 years and you know what you're getting. It's, hey, let's reload every year now because of this open transfer portal and NIL.
No, when a quarterback who starts 2 years for Georgia, the national power, it's like you're at Ohio State and you're going to Miami. And I'm not dogging Miami. It's just, it's not lateral. It's slightly down. It's just, it's, they're an up and comer. It's just, it's totally chaotic and crazy. Hey, the Pels play Zion. Hopefully he plays well. I mean, he played one game, doesn't play the next. A nightmare. Play Zion. Hope he plays well and trade him before the deadline.
Maybe. Well, I don't know if you just saw some breaking news that came out. He's suspended tonight for a violation of team rules.
Oh, God.
Suspended one game. So I think that they're reaching a threshold where maybe they've had enough.
Yeah,
so we'll see, but that may be your course of action. Yes.
That sucks, though. I mean, you want him to play. You want him to play well, so the trade value goes up.
Sure. Yeah. We'll see.
And what? But right before the Super Bowl, the trade deadline, right?
Yes, that week. That week of the Super Bowl is the NBA trade deadline.
Correct. Are we missing anything else in the world of sports, Fletch?
No, it's crazy right now. Saints coach, Pelicans stinking, Zion causing drama, and college. So, yeah, I think we touched it all.
All right, go get on your electric bike. Put on some wind protection. It's cold out there.
Too cold for that today.
No, you're right. All right, Fletch, thank you.
All right.
That's Fletcher Mackel from WDSU Channel 6 Sports joining us on the program. Yeah, you right. Coming up, Michael Hecht is going to join us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. A full slate of topics with Michael, a lot to discuss with Michael Hecht. If I were you, I would not go anywhere. Hey, speaking of not going anywhere, Young's Dry Cleaning comes to you. Free pickup and delivery, home or office. You want to experience the best dry cleaner? You want to do it really easily? Free pickup and delivery, youngsdrycleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamps in shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first helm paint. The floppy disk, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s. Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint Supply.
You been to the new magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's, everything you're looking for. Arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, 504-550-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Our home flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to ever, I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Every Friday, Michael Hecht joins us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. What's happening, Michael?
Well, not much, Corey. I'm just here out at the lakefront, just leading a meeting out here at UNO, talking to the president about plans to kind of get the school back right on its right footing. So
nice.
That's good. You know, UNO is, it's a really important school, man. It provides a quality education. It's got to kind of right size itself for its current, student population and frankly start marketing better, the quality education that you get here.
Yeah, we were just talking about this 2-3 weeks ago on this very segment. I had discussed it for a few days. How could UNO 20 years ago have nearly 18,000 students and today have 6,000? It should be 50,000. It should be a bustling, university like Central Florida and South Florida and Tampa and Orlando. They're monsters. They're like Ohio State, 70,000 students. UNO should be a huge economic engine, a major player for the city, not this sort of pseudo-dormant thing out by the lakefront that it is today.
Yeah, so, I can't say too much because they're going to be announcing it in the next couple of weeks, but after talking to Chancellor Johnson and her team, I'm confident that they've got a plan that is, first and foremost, realistic, kind of seeing things for what they are right now, which is kind of the first step. I get the sense that recognition hasn't happened in a long while. And then they've got a plan to start building it back, and we're going to be right there with them because they've got a good product to sell, and we need it.
No, and you sell the city of New Orleans so that you can regionally, nationally, and internationally recruit. That school should be like, you hear a bunch of foreign languages when you're walking on UNO's campus. It should be like New York City.
I've always thought that. You should have a big Asian population coming in, doing graduate degrees in urban studies and STEM and nautical studies. So,
yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can see it working.
Yep. Every Friday, Michael Hecht joins us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. Every Friday, this segment brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. They're looking for you. The new year is here. Looking for a new job, a new career in 2025? There's a culture of innovation going on at Latrim, and they're looking for you. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com. You ready to get into it? Rapid fire rules, Miguel?
Let's do it, brother. I like it like that.
Yep, I like it like that. We got a lot to cover. First off, let's talk about this terrorist attack. I mentioned it last Friday a little. Now it's even built up. I'm a little disappointed, Michael, in some media members, some politicians, and now a local law firm. in my opinion, the city of New Orleans did nothing wrong. It's easy to look back on this and Monday quarterback. I mean, it is ridiculous. Ann Kirkpatrick, did you know about these archers? No, I didn't. How can that be? Because we've never, ever used them on a sidewalk in the quarter, to my knowledge. What other stuff do you think Ann Kirkpatrick doesn't know about that's in a city-owned warehouse in the city? I mean, you know, just crazy stuff. Get rid of Ann Kirkpatrick, sue the city, the media trying to find a way to blame someone, Michael. Am I right when I say the city of New Orleans is not to blame? And I'll end it with this. People everywhere know that it could have happened in their neighborhood, anytime, anywhere, any place in America.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I guess there are a few thoughts here. You know, one is that two things are both possible. It is both possible that mistakes were objectively made and that stopping somebody willing to die to inflict mayhem is very, very difficult.
Yep.
Both of those things can be true. You know, part of the searching for somebody to blame is a natural response that people have as they try to make sense of a terrible situation. That's understandable. It's like when somebody dies, you're like, oh, well, were they a smoker? You know, you want to assign it to something, right? But a lot of it now is people trying to, you know, cover their own, you know what, place blames on others. And then this lawsuit, I just have to say, the fact that it's being led by a local law firm, I find that to be disgusting.
Yeah.
I find it really, really beyond disappointing. I mean, because it just, I mean, come on, guys. And look, and also, I don't even know what the legal basis for it is. You know, if somebody does something bad to you in a city, if somebody mugs you in a city, I don't think you can sue the city. I don't think that's how the local law works. I don't think that that is the precedent.
You're right. No, it's sad.
So anyway, yeah, that kind of stuff is disheartening because it's not constructive. Here's the real deal, Corey, is that there is an ownership and a responsibility problem relative to the quarter. And the reason for that is because there are no voters there. And until we just recognize that you're never going to have a council member or a mayor who gets up in the morning and thinks about the quarter, you're not going to address it. The quarter has to have an entity that has the authority, that has the responsibility and the authority to actually care about the quarter on a day-to-day basis. And until that's done, we're always going to treat our living room like the back shed, which is the current state of affairs and how it's been for our entire lives.
No, you're right. That's very well said. I mean, could there be a designated, like an eighth council person, or one of the seven is a French Quarter council person? You know, in spite of the population of 4,000 people compared to the other districts, tens of thousands, could there be something like that? Because it needs that representation at that level.
Yeah, I think you got to either do something like that where you create a new distinct district, because even though, you know, it's a tragedy of the commons problem, right? You know, nobody owns it, but everybody benefits. So it does objectively deserve its attention because so much revenue and so much brand comes out of the quarter. But, you know, I think that's a difficult political lift. The other thing you could do is take an entity like the French Quarter Management District, which already, if you read its enabling legislation, has very broad powers, and you actually just clarify those powers so they're not in conflict with the city. You give it more money, you give it a stronger board, and you actually let FQMD really have some level of autonomous responsibility and authority over the quarter, as opposed to what it is now, where it really doesn't have enough responsibility or enough horsepower to do that job.
Hey, Michael, real quick, I went out to Bourbon Street with a tape measure. That 80-inch wide F-150 could have gone around the barrier at Bourbon and Canal if it were up. And It could have gone around the bollards at Iberville by Felix's if those were there. So my question to you, because of what went down, do the feds come in now and kind of terrorist harden Bourbon Street?
I mean, I think that what we have to recognize is that a couple of things. One is that this Tier 1 designation that we now have for Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
These designations were always intended for hard targets like buildings. They were never intended for soft targets like parades. So I don't know how it's going to translate, but I'll tell you what, you think about a lot of the things that we do at Mardi Gras, like having large crowds, like having parades, like having everybody being masked, like having lots of coolers around. All of those things don't exist in a Tier 1 environment. You can't walk into the Superdome, right, for the Super Bowl with a cooler and a mask on. So I'm not sure how that's going to translate. So part of this is going to be careful what you ask for. We have to find a balance. I think that the FBI obviously can be very useful. There are obviously really good technology solutions that we could adopt. But the idea of hardening the French Quarter is very easy to say and logistically and politically very hard to do. Even the issue of bollards on the sidewalk or in the street that could block a car, you have to make sure they're removable for emergency vehicles.
Yep.
You have to make sure that you're not blocking wheelchairs. So, is this stuff manageable? It is, but there are trade-offs. When you go into that fancy area of Memphis, you're going through a metal detector. Do you want to go through a metal detector when you go onto Bourbon Street? Maybe you do, but maybe you don't. So, I think that everybody needs to take a breath. I think we need to have time to mourn what happened, but also realize that this is a global scourge. We were chosen because we're a symbol of America, but it could have happened anywhere. And the changes that happen are going to be analogous to the changes that happened to air travel after 9/11. We don't like all of them. They're inconvenient. Taking your shoes off is a pain. But those type of changes seem to be coming because there are going to have to be some concessions made to this new reality.
Yep. Hey, Michael, I'm going to knock out a quick break. When we come back, I want your take on former New York City, Boston, LA Chief William Bratton coming on board for about 3 months. And also this Hyundai aluminum plant. I know it's outside of Greater New Orleans, Inc.'s 10 Parish, but not too far.
Really,
yeah, Ascension Parish. Right there. I want your take on that and some of the jobs that Jeff Landry seems to be created. And, of course, 30 days until Super Bowl 59. Michael Hecht's with us for a few more minutes. He's with Greater New Orleans, Inc. We're coming right back. More with Michael on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you're right, Crescent City. Don't go anywhere. Got a good 5 o'clock power hour coming your way, too, on this wet, rainy, cold Friday afternoon. Coming right back.
Hey, New Orleans, if you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward.
For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 5 o'clock powwow coming up in just a few minutes. Stick around for that. Michael Hecht's with us for a few more minutes right now. All right, Michael, former New York City police chief, also a Boston police chief, LA police chief. He's like America's cop. This William Bratton guy, 77 years old, coming in for about 3 months to do like a security check of our city, an outside person, and maybe give a fair, objective view, a different view of what needs to happen?
Yeah, look, that's fine. I know Bratton from my time in New York City. He's one of the very best. But here's the thing. The issue that we have is not so much tactics, but execution. So he can give us all the right ideas or tell us which equipment to buy. If it's not used correctly, then we're right back where we started from. So, yeah, I think, getting a security audit makes good sense, and he's one of the best. But if we think that's it, and then we're good, we're not diagnosing the real problem, which is deployment.
Michael, I was fired up to see Hyundai, this $6 billion aluminum plant about 50 miles upriver in Ascension Parish, 1,300 jobs. That's a grand slam home run right there.
Yeah, it is. They're a great company, and it's actually significant because you're not only talking about getting Hyundai there, but it's the beginning of a new and better relationship with South Korea. And if you think about the opportunity to have a special relationship between Louisiana and South Korea. South Korea has heavy industry like Hyundai. It has advanced manufacturing. It has tech companies. There's a lot to mine there, and it's much easier to engage than with Japan or with China. So I really like this idea of creating a special relationship. And if you think about it, like, we've got soul food, they've got soul Korea food.
Oh boy, this is going down quickly.
You see, so we got Lil Kim, they got kimchi. There's
boy.
So.
Speaking of mining, this Bitcoin mining facility, Hut 8, $2.5 billion, hundreds of jobs. Jeff Landry, huh?
Yeah. What's happening under this governor and under Susan Bourgeois at LED is that we've just started leaning forward again in economic development. We've started marketing. We've started being aggressive. We started being creative. Even the whole thing with trying to fix the tax system, that was difficult, but he went for it. And so there's just a different culture, a different attitude. We're kind of saying to the world, Louisiana is back in the game and wants to do business with you. And it's being received. I mean, all this stuff is about business relationships, and a lot of that is about brand, about momentum, about affinity. And I think that the governor's done a really good job early on of creating momentum. And if we can keep this up for another 7.5 years, we're going to be in a very different place as a state than we were when he started.
Hell yeah. I've never in my life seen in Louisiana within about a month 3 announcements that total about $20 billion that bring in about 2,500 six-figure paying jobs. And the $10 billion Meta AI centers, like, surrounded by 4 of the poorest parishes in the state. It's like you couldn't order it up any better.
No, yeah, it's good. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff happening on that I-20 corridor up in the north. It's been kind of forgotten about, but when you go from the northeast all the way over to Shreveport, Bossier, you're going to start seeing a lot more happening up there because you've got cheap land, you've got folks that want jobs. It's happening under the Landry regime. It's got good access. 20 is a good road, east-west.
Yep.
So, yeah, North Louisiana, y'all. Don't sleep on it.
Yeah, hopefully we get that new interstate from Texas to Georgia that goes right through the center of the state too, Michael. That would be a nice economic boost for the state. Not only having the interstate, but linking Texas and Georgia through Louisiana. That's nothing wrong with that. Hey, let's see. I wanted to. It's typical New Orleans. $61 million to build 3 bridges over the I-10 in New Orleans East. I think it's a great idea. Bike pass, light up the service road. That's how you get people to buy land and lease land and bring a business out there. And folks in the East, typical New Orleans fashion, it's like uptown folks with the Whole Foods in the bus barn is complaining about progress, man. It's mind-blowing. $61 million free cash.
I haven't dug into that, but people are pushing back on the idea of those bridges.
Yes, yeah. It's like, come on, people. Come on. Really?
Yeah, I can't really. I got to imagine that most people think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But, you can't always trust the media, Corey.
Never. No, especially those talk show hosts. Hey, Super Bowl 59, 30 days away, Miguel.
Yeah, man, look, we're doing it. We are getting really down the road with all the hard infrastructure projects. The murals are going up. There is a nice piece today in the paper by Doug McCash on the Shepherd Ferry piece that's going up. He's the Obama Hope guy. We're making progress on our mural on Gerard, where we're going to get a Terrence Osborne going up. In this city, we're going to get Plaza Tower going pretty soon, get the wrappings around that, kind of like industrial-sized Spanx. So, it's right? Whatever it takes. So I'm starting to get really excited, Corey. I think we're going to be pretty proud about what we have to show.
Yeah, I'm fired up about it. Michael, always a pleasure. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
You too, my friend. Stay warm.
That's Michael Hecht. Yeah, no doubt. Stay warm. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joining us on the program. That's Blue Boy, barking up a storm. Oh, Blue Boy. What, buddy? Folks should stick around because the 5 o'clock powwow is next. You're so right, Blue Boy. Excellent advice. See you in a second, New Orleans.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM. WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Good boy.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Stool Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
So true. My days of getting on a ladder are over with. Not because I got the Leaf Guard system from Audubon Gutters, which I did. AudubonGutters.com. No, my days just because I don't get on a ladder anymore. I'm falling off the ladder again. No shot. No reason to. Hire someone to get on the ladder, but not to clean my gutters. AudubonGutters.com. It's indeed New Orleans, Louisiana. Thank you, number 9. Mr. Drew Brees with the introduction, live from La Jolla, California. Well, not live so much. Thanks for joining us. A wintry mix Friday. Yeah, that wintry mix continues out there. This morning it was like 60 degrees and right back to 40s. High 40s right now. Temperatures dropping. When we wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be 39. 39 and oh so fine in New Orleans. The high tomorrow's 48. So 30s and 40s tomorrow, Saturday. Sunday, 38 when we wake up, but we might hit 60 on Sunday. And then basically all of next week, 40s and 50s, all of next week. So this wintry mix that some of us like for a little while, but a lot of us don't like for a long while. It's why we live down here, so we don't get winter. Continuing all into next week. It's a long stretch, man. 2025, winter has arrived in New Orleans, no doubt, at least to our standards. Now, Dallas right now and Atlanta, they look like Denver, Colorado, like a foot of snow on the ground in Dallas and Atlanta. There are people skiing down Peachtree, down the hill in Atlanta. People skiing at Piedmont Park. Like a foot of snow in Dallas, like a foot of snow in Atlanta. We're not getting that. Thank goodness. I don't mind a little snow every now and then, every few years. If we got a foot of snow, it would be crazy in New Orleans. I'm not against that happening, but I'm not like rooting for it or wanting it to happen. But no, we're going to be right back all next week, 40s and 50s all next week. So cold weather continues in and around Metro New Orleans. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Toot, toot. We're blowing that 5 o'clock whistle. Boop. You know, you got the lunch pail under one arm. You got the work hard hat under the other. You're leaving the plant. You've punched out. The whistle is blown. The work week in the books, the weekend, all of it is in front of you. It's a little bit after 5 p.m. on a Friday. The work week is history. The weekend is entirely in front of you. We like recognizing this very moment of the week. That's why we blow the 5 o'clock whistle. We like putting the spotlight on this very moment. 5 o'clock whistle, a little after 5 o'clock on a Friday. 5 o'clock powwow brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City, appropriately brought to you by Katie's. Yeah, you're off of work, head to Katie's. What a great wind down spot. Each and every day, folks getting off of work like 1, 2, 3 o'clock, they're beelining over to Katie's. You go over there for an early dinner or a late lunch, you'll see a bunch of crazy New Orleans characters in there. They're fixtures. Sitting at the bar, grabbing a drink, cutting it up. It is the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. It is a mid-city mainstay, as New Orleans as it gets. You want to experience that? A taste of New Orleans, big portions, great for sharing. New Orleans specialties, old school. Iberville, cornered Tallahassee in Mid-City. It's Katie's. 5 o'clock whistle. Appropriately brought to you by Katie's on this Friday, as New Orleans as it gets, Katie's. Yeah, like I said, about 48 degrees out there, and it's nasty. It's kind of wet, overcast, humid, cold, windy. I mean, if it were like 12, 15 degrees colder, we might have like snow flurries, at least earlier when we had the rain. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Governor Jeff Landry with President-elect Donald Trump said unidentified drones have been flying over Louisiana's nuclear power plants. Unidentified drones have been flying over Louisiana's nuclear power plants. That's Governor Jeff Landry with President Donald Trump right there. They're sitting up at like some panel and up at a table. President Trump, President-elect, sitting right next to Landry. By the way, 9 days out until Joe Biden calls it a day and Donald Trump takes a second term as president. Was the 45th president. Now he'll be the 47th president. A week from Monday. A week from this Monday. Speaking of countdowns, 30 days until Super Bowl 59. 30 days until Super Bowl 59. Bring it on. I don't think anyone that's reasonable is concerned 1 minute about a terrorist attack during the Super Bowl. Like the opposite. New Orleans will probably be one of the safest places you could be. With that extra 1,000, federal law enforcement you get in New Orleans, with that SEER 1 rating that a Super Bowl always gets as far as security, coupled with the terrorist attack that was successful on Bourbon Street, there'll be even more federal, feet on the ground, boots on the ground, coupled with technology and all of that. So bring it on. It's what we do. Tourism and conventions. There's no putting on the brakes or holding things up, especially with this. This Jabbar loser guy connected to ISIS. It's not like he's communicating with people in the Middle East from ISIS back and forth. And there's a dozen other, lunatics like him in America, and they're waiting for ISIS to give them their marching orders. This is a lone wolf who is a depressed loser whose life came crumbling down. And instead of doing like what most people do in America and around the world, pick themselves up, he just blamed America and just his crappy lot in life and all this, and took it so far where he started to assimilate with ISIS and that type of thinking. And definitely it was an ISIS attack. They've taken credit for it online, on their website, on social media, ISIS. But this isn't some guy entrenched in that organization, been with them for years, some kind of spy. This is a loser who got so bummed out about his own life and he's depressed and he's a loser. Instead of fixing it, he blamed America and then go against America and then just fanatical and crazy, and it just spun out of control into this. So kind of a lone wolf, not like ISIS calling someone else in Houston and go hit New Orleans again. So no, I'm not worried at all. It would. I said the other day, it'd be like being at an airport at the bar and you're watching TV and they break into some news flash and it's about a plane that crashed. I'd be flying on that next flight, no problem. And bring on the Super Bowl, bring on the conventions, bring on the tourists. And with that said, on this Fantasy Friday, and I'm so glad Michael Hecht agreed, because I respect Michael. He's smart. He's fair and objective. He's for the city. He seemed as disappointed as I was. Post-terrorist attack, some politicians, some media, and now a local law firm blaming the city of New Orleans for this. The great thing is everyone that's normal and thinks rationally everywhere in America knows this could have happened in their backyard. Any place, anytime, anywhere, when an individual is willing to die, basically suicide, and wants to take out some people with him. Anywhere, any place, anytime in America. So for politicians to be on national media outlets and disparaging the city and state for political gain is pathetic. For some media members, this Arroyo guy who says he's from New Orleans, that Pee Wee Herman looking guy who goes on Fox. No one locally knows who he is unless you watch Fox. And he's sitting there dogging the police chief, didn't know these archers were available. There's a lot of things in the city warehouses around the city that this police chief, this mayor, this council, no one knows what's in them. Just irrational, irresponsible, pathetic journalism. Ann Kirkpatrick's not going anywhere, and those archers aren't designed to be sitting on a French Quarter sidewalk. Redoing the sidewalks, bust up the slate. You need a permanent bollard there and professionally done. Not just some big, heavy, hulking piece of metal that's designed to be used with other archers on the street, not a sidewalk blocker. Could have put a NOPD SUV up there. What's the difference? No, just irresponsible journalism to get clicks and to get people salivating, and it's wrong. And this is a native New Orleanian, and this local law firm now suing the city. This local law firm 7 days out announcing they're suing the city. Yeah, some politicians, some media members, and this local law firm, just pathetic, no class. Wrong. Not good.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton, Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeVar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, if you're on the Causeway right now, Trey Yen is open for the evening. Why don't you fire in a to-go order? Well, they'll walk it right out to your car. Curbside delivery. You don't even leave the vehicle. Don't forget the Tung Cho sauce. Trey Yen in Mandeville. To-go orders, curbside delivery. Better yet, North Shore, South Shore, dine in at Trey Yen tonight. Not only is it not Chinese food, it's Chinese cuisine, Chinese food at a higher level. It's one of the best seafood restaurants in Metro New Orleans, Trey Yen in Mandeville. So damn good. Love me some Trey Yen. I'm there about once a week, either for a lunch special or for dinner. The lemon chicken for dinner, boy, is that a good entree. The appetizers are off the charts. If you go with like 4 or more people for an appetizer, get the honey pecan shrimp entree and split that up as an appetizer. Honey pecan shrimp entree as an appetizer. So good. Trey Yen, Mandeville. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. As we head into 2025 now, we're a week into it or more, 10 days in. It's crazy. Just time flying by. I don't do this all the time. Real quick, just thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. On radio, on television, folks in Baton Rouge and Lafayette and Opelousas and Houma and Thibodaux and Hammond, checking us out on TV, North Shore, New Orleans. Love it. Checking us out on the radio. YouTube, slowly but surely getting that going. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. I readily admit I suck at social media. I got to get better at that in 2025. But you can click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost a thing. Check us out on your smart TV, your phone, tablet, pad, computer. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. No, thanks for checking us out as we roll into 2025. I started doing this thing that was very fledgling when I started called talk radio. That was 1992, March of 1992. So what? It'll be 33 years in a couple of months doing this. Flying by. The first about 12 or 13 were sports talk. And now it's going to be about 20 years of non-sports talk. I mean, Fridays with Fletch, last hour, Brett Martell Monday, 20 minutes or so a week of sports. But the other 9.5 hours a week are not sports, really. But no, I still love sports. I love LSU, Saints, Pels, Tulane. I love it all. But, I like talking a whole lot of other stuff. Anyway, thanks for joining us on the program every weekday, 4 to 6 o'clock, based out of New Orleans. Governor Jeff Landry was with President Donald Trump on, sitting up at a table on a, little stage. And I forget what the event was, but he basically said unidentified drones have been flying over Louisiana's nuclear power plants. Unidentified drones have been flying over Louisiana's nuclear power plants. What's mind-blowing to me is like you try to fly like a drone by an airport, you'll lose control of it. It'll just drop out of the sky. It's restricted. It won't go. It's like it hits a wall. If you play golf, you're at a nice course that has the carts with the GPS. You drive the cart where you're not supposed to be. The cart will stall out. You need to put it in reverse and back away from where you were. I just don't understand how like a nuclear power plant would even have a drone be able to fly over it, where the drone wouldn't hit that invisible wall where the frequency is, distorted and the flyer of the drone loses control of the drone. I don't get it. Speaking of Governor Jeff Landry, he's on a roll. I said this to Michael Hecht. You can like Jeff Landry or not. What I said to Michael Hecht was, in my lifetime in Louisiana, I can't recall in like a 1 month period, nearly $20 billion, 3 different facilities, nearly $20 billion of investment, about 2,500 jobs that pay $100,000 on average or more. Never seen that in my life. First, it was the $10 billion Meta AI Center up in Northeast Louisiana. The 4 poorest parishes in the state, 4 of the poorest parish counties in America. It's going right in the middle of those 4. East of Monroe, in between Monroe and the state line with Mississippi on I-20. A little town I'd never even heard of. $10 billion Meta AI Center. It's going to employ at least 500. Then this Bitcoin mining facility, Hut 8, $2.5 billion facility. They're going to employ about 500. The latest, a Hyundai aluminum plant in Ascension Parish. Finally getting into the automotive business. If not a factory building cars, at least parts or something that contributes to the automotive, world, because Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, they all have major car manufacturing facilities. Hyundai is going to build an aluminum plant, and they're going to sell aluminum to other car manufacturers, but primarily use it to supply a Alabama and Georgia Hyundai, couple of Hyundai plants building cars and SUVs in America, in the South. So huge. 1,300 jobs, $6 billion. $6 billion. That's gigantic. No, got to give Jeff Landry credit. GQ on the North Shore is sending me an email. Corey at CoreyTalks.com, by the way. Let's see what old GQ is saying. Landry told Trump, or Trump told Landry about the drones? Jeff Landry, I think, told Trump. Or I don't know what was said behind closed doors, but it was just Jeff Landry up there, and he said it, and Trump was just like, yeah, isn't that unbelievable? And the government's not telling you about it. So I think Jeff Landry informed Trump saying, we have unidentified drones flying over our nuclear power plants all the time lately. That's what Jeff Landry basically said. Let me see if I can pull up that audio. I think I've got it somewhere. If you give me a minute on the fly here. Let's see. I think Jeff Landry posted it, if I'm not mistaken. Come on, Jeff. Didn't you post that? Yeah, it would have been today. Maybe it's the other Jeff Landry website. Let's see. No. Maybe it's under a reply. I don't think, though. I think it would be one of his posts. Anyway, I can't find it. I'll try to find that audio during the break. But no, it was Jeff Landry saying we have drones flying over our nuclear power plants. Yeah, that's not good to hear. Boy, Karen Pence attending Jimmy Carter's memorial service. Barack Obama was there, Hillary and Bill Clinton, George Bush and Laura Bush, other dignitaries, politicos, and the like. Mike Pence and Karen Pence are sitting down. President-elect Trump, Melania Trump leading the way. Pence stands up and says hello to Melania and shakes Trump's hand. Karen Pence just sticks her head in like the little pamphlet that says what's going on with the memorial service, whatever that's called, and doesn't look up and acknowledge Melania Trump or Donald Trump. Like Karen Pence is pissed. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hey, television audience, have a great weekend. See you Monday. We rock and roll until 6 o'clock. You can check us out on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. We're on the radio, oh so fine, 93.9 FM. CoreyTalks.com is our website. You can check us out there as well. Lots of ways, links, hookups to check out the show, audio, video, and the like. Hey, if you need a pair of prescription glasses, a great pair of sunglasses, or if you're tired of wearing glasses that everybody else has, Art and Eyes on Magazine is for you. It is an eyewear boutique like nothing you've ever seen. Something you'd see like in Los Angeles or Paris or New York. Super high-end, highest quality frames from the United States, from Japan, from Europe. Name brands you've never, ever heard of in your life. But when you touch, feel, put on these frames, you're going to be like, oh, my God. You're going to just see super high quality that you don't get with the Luxottica brands. I used to love Revo and Persol out of Italy and America's Ray-Ban. Well, it's not Revo and Persol out of Italy and Ray-Ban out of America anymore. It's Chinese, Luxottica-owned, mafia-controlled, Chinese-controlled garbage made in China. It's trash. So no, those eyewear brands that maybe you grew up with that you've always liked, they're not what you grew up with anymore. You want some eyewear that's as unique as you, high quality, all different price points. Art and Eyes on Magazine between Napoleon and Louisiana on the riverside of Magazine. No, they have frames, all different price points. They've got a basket. This big basket, it's probably like 2 feet by like 18 inches. It's probably got 100 pairs of frames.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King. Hey, New Orleans. If you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. 5 o'clock power hour on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, the weekend is upon us. Kind of a wintry mix out there, man. Like mid-40s, kind of wet and rainy, kind of nasty out there. Tomorrow, it'll be 39 when we wake up. High temperature only around 48. So a cold day tomorrow. Sunday, 38 when we wake up. High temperature, though, around 60. And then all next week, 40s and 50s. 40s and 50s. Crazy, man. This wintry mix continues for us. Yeah, very disappointed. Right after the terrorist attack in New Orleans, this tragedy, you had some local politicians for personal gain, Republican and Democrat, just dogging the city, trying to place blame somewhere, just beyond irresponsible, sad, pathetic. And then some local and national media that were trying to blame the city of New Orleans for this. Would you blame New York for 9/11 or D.C. for the Pentagon attack? I mean, my God, on 9/11, would you blame D.C. or New York? No one's even ever said anything like that. But New Orleans is to blame for this terrorist attack. Here's the thing. We're not to blame. And everyone that's reasonable and rational locally, statewide, regionally, and nationally, even around the world, don't blame the city of New Orleans. And we are a dysfunctional, broken city. But rational, reasonable people know some terrorist type that is willing to die can cause a lot of damage and kill a lot of people, and there's not a lot you can do about it. But I just thought it was pathetic, and think it is pathetic right now, that some local politicians, some local and national media, and now a local law firm, Morris Bart, suing the city. I mean, Morris Bart, my God. You know, a lot of people know Morris Bart, Buddy Bart, good guy, all this stuff. He brags about it on one of his commercials, $1 billion in settlements. At 30-40%, that means Morris Bart has pulled in about $400 million himself. And we all know, let's not kid ourselves. If you or any kind of person and the you-know-what is hitting the fan in real life, you're really hurt. You really have someone coming after you. You need a real attorney. You're not going to hire any of these TV attorneys. A smart person is going to consult with people that are smarter than him or her, that know lawyers, that know the law, talk to a few people, try to get a consensus, and hire a real lawyer that can help you because it's life or death. It's once in a lifetime type stuff. But if it's some, BS injury that maybe you're to blame, you're looking to blame someone else, or you want to exaggerate and embellish or even lie about your injury, neck or back hurts, whatever, these television lawyers are pouncing on it. They were trying to pass some reasonable laws to limit what these television lawyers could say in advertisements on billboards, television, all of it. Let them advertise, but just not these got a check and so sue happy. Like, you're walking down the street, you blow your nose, sue somebody. I mean, it's like that. It's egregious. It's overt. It's over the top. It's obnoxious. It's pathetic. And what happens? For instance, they were going to limit lawyers on billboards. The billboard companies and the lawyers hired lobbyists, and they got the legislators who are easy, got them to, not go with that law, not restrict it. It's not about us. It's about the needs of the few. And we're a litigious state. And Morris Bart and these TV attorneys, a lot of their clients, I don't know the percentage, it might be 50%, are exaggerating, embellishing, or outright lying. It's a larger than normal percentage. Lawyers with integrity, real lawyers that love the law, that live for it. It's their vocation. It's their passion. They're not dealing with those clients. They're not trying to blow off people, but they're not trying to go after the folks that they think are embellishing, exaggerating, or worse, lying. These TV attorneys encourage that. And now Morris Bart suing the city of New Orleans. This is like his second lawsuit in a year against the city. This one is just obnoxious, and it's rude, and it's tragic, and it's pathetic, and it's exploiting these victims. No, Morris Bart knew that I better sign up these 7 victims because another TV attorney will sign up these 7 victims. And that's not even the worst part. If you got to be aggressive, be aggressive. That's what you do for a living. But what a lawyer worth his salt would have done, hey, 7 victims I just signed up. Let's slow things down just for a second. I'm here to represent you. I'm all in. But it's 7 days from the tragedy. Emotions are super high right now. Logic, rational thought, using your brain. I'm not dogging you folks. I can't put myself in your shoes, what you're dealing with. But let's slow this thing down because it's only 7 days out. Let's let emotions come down a little bit. And also, before we go suing the city, which is a super long shot, but Morris Bart can't lose. He gets a lot of publicity. So he's out in the, he's going to be on news. They're going to be interviewing him, whatever. Winning the lawsuits in super long shot. The freak thing you win and getting paid is a super long shot. No, what Morris Bart should have been telling him, let's hold on. And the feds, like 9/11, a terrorist attack. 3,000 plus individuals on average got millions of dollars each. Those 14 victims, their families, they deserve similar compensation. And the 39 or 40 that were injured, I think like a dozen still in the hospital, they deserve some compensation, lesser than the families of the victims that passed, but still something significant, because that's what America does. Can't bring back, folks that are passed or fix people that are injured permanently, but we can try to ease the pain. And that's what we do. That's why 3,000 plus families that lost loved ones in 9/11 in D.C. and New York got millions of dollars each on average. Millions of dollars each. A buddy of mine used to date a girl who lost her husband in 9/11. And she got, it's like $3-4 million and deserved it. No, these victims of the terrorist attack deserve it. But that's what I would be saying. Let's slow down the roll. Instead, 7 days out, the victims are highly emotional. No, Morris Bart taking advantage of them, signing them up and then not telling them, let's slow this roll down. The opposite. We're suing the city. No, it's just pathetic. These aren't people that are pro-New Orleans. These are selfish people out for themselves. And these attorneys, this litigious state we live in, it all costs us money. Home insurance, auto insurance, it's obnoxious. It costs us each thousands of dollars each a year. That's why all these TV attorneys, they're like the televangelists. They're rich and even wealthy. Morris Bart tells you publicly, I've settled $1 billion+ in claims. At 30-40%, that's 300 to 400 million personally for him. 300 to 400 million. It's obnoxious. It's all coming out of our pockets. Some of the lawsuits are legitimate, no doubt. I don't know if it's the majority. I have no idea. All I know is it's seedy. It's sort of low end. It's not a lot of class. And it hurts all of us. We're all paying for it. Where these folks get these settlements and these attorneys get these huge chunks. They don't go to court. They don't know where the courtroom is. They don't know the judges. They don't know the law. They don't know the law. They are simply insurance company facilitators. And after this tragedy, it was obnoxious. Politicians on the left and right, dogging the city. I was like, this is pathetic. Then media, local and nationally, dogging the city, trying to blame someone. Where were the politicians and the media before the terrorist attack saying, where are the archers on the sidewalk? Why isn't this hardened? Why isn't this terrorist proof? Where were they? I never have heard a word about any of that. And now Morris Bart's law firm signing up 7 of the local victims, 7 of the 14, and suing the city. A week out. No, just low class and pathetic. My God. It really is. It's a shame. Here's the kicker. The city of New Orleans did nothing wrong. The city of New Orleans did nothing wrong. And that'll be proven with this erroneous lawsuit. No, the beautiful thing is people everywhere know that. They go, man, this could easily have happened in my city, in my town, anytime, anywhere, any place in America. Capitalistic society, freedoms that we have, any concert, sporting event, anything that draws a large crowd at an arena, a stadium, an auditorium, anywhere. Some loser that's hell-bent on killing people and doesn't mind dying himself, that's impossible to stop. Almost impossible to stop. No, have a little sympathy for the victims. Some people are still in the hospital, and we have lawsuits. We have politicians saying things for personal gain. We have media being very irresponsible. Corey Johnson with you, telling it like it is.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian. Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
That sounds like Astral Project. Boy, they're good. I don't know if you ever checked out that jazz group. They play at Snug Harbor, other places in town. Pretty amazing. The talent in New Orleans, the artists that we have, just tough to beat. I mean, per capita, got to be number one in the world, huh? Like number one in the world. Musicians and artists, it's just mind-blowing, the creativity and talent that comes out of New Orleans. Boy, a wintry mix. It continues mid 40s now. When we wake up in the morning, it's going to be 39 in New Orleans. Boy, no, now they're saying 38 in New Orleans in the AM. Wow. Unreal. Same thing on Sunday, 38, but we'll get up to 60. Tomorrow, we only get up to like 48. 30s and 40s for Saturday. 40s and 50s on Sunday. And then all next week, 40s and 50s. It's crazy. Like I said, a wintry mix. It continues, this Arctic blast. And I'm not talking about the Oreo thing at Sonic or Dairy Queen. Although that thing is good. The vanilla ice cream with the Oreos. Wow. I had one of those about a week ago, like half of one. I had to stick like trash and napkins from my car in the cup so I wouldn't keep eating it because it was crazy good. Yeah, just super sugary. I'll tell you something that's cold and good and not super sugary. You can add sugar if you want. You can get the Angel Food is a great treat, a great snack that's healthy. I'm talking about Smoothie King and specifically Jay and his dad's 2 Smoothie King locations that I frequent. Most of the time I'm on Jefferson Highway across from Ochsner, but occasionally I'll hit the old Metairie Smoothie King. They stay open late. Right there on Airline at LaBar in that Rouse's shopping center, almost Airline at Causeway, the old Metairie Smoothie King. And Jefferson Highway across from Ochsner. All Smoothie Kings aren't the same. Experience the best. Smoothie King, Jefferson Highway across from Ochsner. Smoothie King, Old Metairie, Airline at LaBar by Causeway in that Rouse's shopping center. Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday, Corey Johnson back at you. Governor Jeff Landry today up on a stage with some tables with Donald Trump, president-elect. He'll be president a week from this Monday. A week from Monday. Jeff Landry said unidentified drones have been flying over Louisiana's nuclear power plants lately. And can't figure out where they're coming from, who's flying them. Speaking of Trump, Carter's memorial service yesterday, Karen Pence giving the cold shoulder to Melania and President-elect Donald Trump. First Lady and President just ignoring them. Everybody else acknowledged them, but Karen Pence is pissed. And understandably so. I don't fault Karen Pence. I saw a lot of stuff on social media, good for her, which was my thinking. Why not? And then a lot of folks saying it was classless, but not for what Trump did to Pence. Pence stood up and shook Trump's hand and said hello to Melania. Karen Pence just sunk her head into like the memorial little, pamphlet, the memorial service. Corey Johnson with you, Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hey, it doesn't matter if it's a weekday, a weekend, overnight, holiday. If you need air conditioning, and right now it's going to be heat help. If your heat's not working right, making a funny noise, or worse, not working at all, Total Maintenance is there for you. Fair and honest, Lucas and the boys at Total Maintenance. Air conditioning and heating experts, over 30 trucks, over 30 techs, literally hundreds of years of experience. And they come immediately, like right now, a Friday, almost 6 o'clock. You need heat help? Total Maintenance is there. East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. In Southeast Louisiana for 40 years with a sterling reputation. In New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, if you need air conditioning, right now it would be heat help. Total Maintenance. Think Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com. If you need heat help in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, anytime, think Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com. Yeah, wintry mix in New Orleans. It's cold out there, and it's going to be 40s and 50s like through next week. A little warmer on Sunday. We might hit 60, and then right down to 40s and 50s all next week. So, yeah. Your heat's got to be working right, no doubt about it. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, Fletcher Mackel joined us. Also in the 4 o'clock hour, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. 30 days until Super Bowl 59. 30 days until Super Bowl 59. Bring it on. Yeah, you're right. We're ready. I said this before, as far as like another terrorist attack, thinking about it, well, I mean, it just happened, so I'd be thinking about it, but would I be nervous or worried about it? Not at all. Not worried or nervous about it. Already went down to Bourbon Street. Would go to Bayona tonight or Irene's in a second to eat. Are you kidding? Not worried about that for a minute. Bring on Super Bowl, bring on Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, French Quarter Fest. No, the thing that I worry about, these politicians, some of these media members, now this local law firm, just exploiting the tragedy for personal gain. Exploiting it. Politicians, media, commenting on it, trying to blame the city of New Orleans, and Morris Bart suing the city for the 7 victims who, my God, some of these folks are that didn't die, obviously. They're still in the hospital, some of them. And then you have 14 folks that died. Morris Bart's going to represent 7 of them right away and sue the city. 7 days out, a week out. I mean, emotions are raw. Just pathetic. Pathetic. Pathetic, some of these politicians, pathetic, some of these media members, and pathetic, shame on Morris Bart. No, it's taking advantage of the tragedy. Blue Boy, you're right, for personal gain. It sucks. Dog in the city of New Orleans when we're not to blame. You're right, it sucks. Not loyal. You're right, Blue Boy. Not loyal at all. This Arroyo guy who says he's from New Orleans on Fox. These politicians, the law firm, Morris Bart, not loyal to our city. See you Monday.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.